Now we extend our olive branch to you, standing for the people with your host, attorney Ali Shamsuddin, and guests heard every Wednesday evening, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. exclusively on 9.1 FM WMPR. This program shall focus on facts that we share with each other on this platform designated to inform, educate, and organize our communities in Jackson and abroad. No rational comments or opinions are regarded as being irrelevant, as your comments and participation could prove to be the cornerstone of our goal, being to restore moral ethics, integrity, respect, and progress in efforts to reach for a better future in all aspects of the everyday lives of our families and our children. Now join your host, Shamsuddin, and guests coming to you standing for the people where together we can. Exclusively on the Voice of the Community, 9.1 FM, WMPR.
Good evening. Good evening. It's 7 p.m. Wednesday. That means this is Standing for the People, and I'm Ali Shamsuddin. Good to be here again this Wednesday evening. Of course, you know this is a call-in show, 601-948-5950. We'd like to hear your comments and your views. Like I said, this is not a gossip program, so we're not looking for gossip. We're looking for information that we can use. This program is brought to you by the people. That is, people who got together and said, Shamsuddin, we want you back on the air. And we're going to put you on the air because you used to be on the air with Mr. Tisdale on Friday nights, views from the black side. But now, you know, it's been a while, so we want you back on the air. So we've been on the air now for a little while, and that's what we're here for, you know, to help us understand how to keep ourselves motivated, do the things and get the results that we need to get and we deserve to get as citizens. You know, we've been too long as second-class citizens in this country that we have to build. You know, and one of the ways that we will get our rights, and I say rights, not privileges, I'm saying rights as a citizen of this country. The first right is to vote. We got to vote. We got to register, and you have to vote. And since we really new to the process, you know, even though we've been here as long as the country has been here, you know, we hadn't been involved in and wasn't allowed to be involved in the voting process. But now we're here. So now what we have to do, we have to register and we have to vote and we have to monitor the people who we put in office. You know, that's just part of the process. I know we felt that once we start, particularly here in Mississippi, Jackson and Hinds County, once we start putting Black people in these offices of responsibility, we thought that, hey, now things are going to get better. And they're going to get a whole lot better. And they should have. We had a right to believe that. But we didn't keep up the other part of that process. And that is monitor the people that we put in these positions of responsibility and let them know, hey, we are watching. We are watching and we expect to get results now. You know, we didn't put you there to get rich individually or you and your friends get rich and really not even pay attention or focus on the needs of the citizens of this city, or the city as a whole. And we've seen the result of that. But, you know, now we've learned, now we can overcome our mistake. You know, as my friend Randy Wildman Brown would say, you know, we learned we can't be complacent. That is, we can't put these people in the office and think that they're just automatically going to do what they're supposed to do. We hope that they do. But unfortunately, that has not, by and large, been the case. I want to shout out, of course, to my good friend, John Brown, Constable John Brown, the longest elected constable in the country, John Brown. And he's the type of person that, you know, been a good friend of mine. And if you tell you're going to do something, you can count on. Also, I told Marcus, I saw him today, Marcus Wells, Deputy Sheriff. I understand he's in line to become a lieutenant. I hope that manifests. He's one of the hardworking deputy sheriffs over there, so I'm shouting out to him as well. This is African American History Month. Now that says something in and of itself. You know, Carlos G. Woodson advocated for that 1920s, I believe it was. We finally got a month dedicated to helping the world of this country remember what African Americans have done for this country. Because you have those of that mindset that I put a name on it, Charlie Kirk mindset, that would like people to believe that Africa has no history to mention, that we as former Africans were brought to America just out of the goodness of white folks to bring us over here, our ancestors over here to civilize us. And we've been dependent upon them ever since. That's the narrative that they want the world to believe. So now we have African American History Month. Now that says something in our school system. We have to have a month to remind people that Black people contributed to the building of this country. Now, from elementary school, from kindergarten throughout high school, we're learning about what white people did to build this country. And not only that, where they came from in Europe and what they were doing in Europe before they got here. We learned all of this. The kings and queens of Europe or France or Spain or England or wherever. We didn't learn anything about Africa. We didn't learn anything about Africa. Nobody learned that, the kingdoms in Africa and the civilizations in Africa. That's why everybody thinks that, everybody in Africa was just living in grass huts, hunting out in the wild, had no civilization. That's deplorable. That's deplorable. And you have people even today who would like to think that since we've been here in America, we've contributed really nothing. That's the narrative that they would like to put forth. And again, I've had people call and say, here in Jackson, we need to get our own school so we can teach it. This is why I hope some of you out there listening, we are the government here in Jackson. We are the government in Hinds County. We are the government. We run Jackson Public School. That shouldn't be a negative. Why shouldn't our public schools be teaching everybody, not just our children, everybody, about the illustrious history of Africans throughout history, and then the contributions that we made after being brought here, enslaved to this country? And I know the state legislature, they're trying to pass statutes and don't be teaching divisiveness in our school. What's divisive about teaching our children and the world about what we have contributed to this country from day one in every aspect? That African, Black people who were involved in the Revolutionary War. There are Black people who were involved in the Indian War. During the Civil War, I know a lot of people like to think that the slaves just sat back on their plantations and waited to see who won, or the North or the South. And not knowing that before the war ended, the Civil War ended, there were more Black people in the Union Army than there were white people. There were more Black people in the Union Army than there were in the whole Confederate Army. What's divisive about that? That's a history. That's actual fact. Things that we use every day. Black people invented or improved that we use right here in our daily lives. You got a doctor like Dr. Charles Drew, who came up with, who I won't use invented, not a proper medical term, but he uh, produced blood plasma that saved many lives during World War II. Because before him, they weren't able to store blood, to give blood transfusions, to ship off to save lives. Dr. Charles Drew, that black man, did that. And guess what? He got into an accident, a car accident in Washington, D.C., where he was from. And they wouldn't even admit him to a hospital to use his invention, blood plasma. He died. You know, when people don't have enough knowledge about you to respect you, how would you expect them to respect you? And that's what history is about. True history is about. I don't care what school you went to. I don't care what degree you have now. Whatever degree you have, even doctoral, whatever it is, you have to pass some history courses. And why shouldn't those history courses include proper history of what African Americans have contributed to the world? Africans and African Americans. And that's not about being divisive. That's just as much a fact as whoever was the king of England. It's a fact. But our children, and most of us, we come up in life almost regretting the lot that we've been given, that is being born an African American or a black person. Why? Because history, we're left out of history. We're left out of history. Our young people today think they have to invent a whole culture because they don't know that they came from a culture. So yes, the African American History Month is great. We have it. But it should be integrated into the curriculum of every school system throughout the year for all the grades. It's not about being divisive. It's about knowing the truth and helping people understand that we have a history, a viable history. And it helps us to understand too, maybe the people that we put in these offices can remember the efforts that it took in order for them to even be there. Because it appears that once they get there, they forget the price that was paid for them to even be there. That's why we can look around Jackson now. We can look around Hinds County, and Jackson ain't too much different than a lot of other towns throughout Mississippi. It's a fact that Mississippi has more black elected officials throughout the state than any other state in the Union, in America. Mississippi has. Mississippi as a state has the highest percentage of black people in their population than any other state in the country. These are just actual facts. Which means that once we begin to really understand, which is what they don't want us to, the amount of power that we have, when we begin to use our right as citizens, that is, to vote. and decide who's going to be making the laws that we have to live under and who's going to be carrying out the law that we live under. This is the type of information that they would prefer we think about everything else but that. Here we are about approaching 40% of the population in Mississippi over there. They don't want us to understand the amount of voting power that is. Now, that might mean that we may not always be able to decide exactly who go into office, but we certainly can decide who won't go with statistics like that. It is time for us to use the sophistication now that we have. I always say we're not a dumb people. We're not stupid. We've been ignorant. Ignorance can be cured with proper information. And that's what's been kept from us. We still have people saying, well, it don't make any difference. Whether you vote or don't vote, it's going to be the same. That's the attitude that they want us to believe. And if we don't put the proper people in office, yeah, it's going to be the same. But once we put people in office and help them realize, hey, if you don't do what we put you there to do, you won't be there but one term. When the people we put in these positions come to understand that. And see, the other premise that I even hear some elected officials even trying to put out there, that we expect them to do something illegal so we can benefit from it as a citizens. They didn't have to do anything illegal to have Jackson looking like it looked years ago, when the zoo was a zoo, when our streets were paved, and even though we had segregated schools, the city wasn't going to trash. So, we're not asking that. We're sophisticated enough to know that when we put people in these offices, the mayor, city council, board of supervisors, school board, school superintendent, that nobody's expecting them to do anything illegal to make us prosper in this city. They're expected to use the same rules that allow the white community to prosper while they were here, before they decided to move. And so that's fact. That's fact. So we can get past that image that they're expecting us. When we put somebody in office, we're expecting them to do a whole lot of underhanded deals and things and break the rules in order for us to prosper. That's not what's that. But it just so happens they get caught up in breaking the rules for themselves, which is not good. You see, but once we understand, we don't have to be going to city in and doing no demonstration. Just go down to these meetings, city council, watch them. Attend the meeting, hear what they're talking about. Because too often we don't hear about anything until they've decided and voted. It's too late. County board of supervisors, same way. School board, same way. But they want to intimidate you to think that you got to have some kind of degree just to come down to the meeting and ask the question. That's not democracy. In the school board, do you have a child in the school? You pay taxes. You have a right to know what they're doing with your tax money. Well, you don't have to have any children, period. They're spending your tax money. You have a right to know what they're doing and what they're spending it on. But too long, this intimidation factor that they've put on the general population, the citizens. Who am I to ask questions? You are a tax-paying citizen. That's who you are. And you have a right to know what whoever we put in these positions are doing with your money. Now that's the rule, that's the law. So yes, we're becoming sophisticated enough to know now, yeah, we're gonna vote for who we want to vote for. Let's register, let's vote, and then watch, monitor. But as I say, let me hear from you. We got you want to say something about African American History Month? To give us some information you may have. Help people understand. And no, we haven't been just people sitting back here waiting for handouts. You know, the fact we just learned when the government came to that shutdown, a whole lot of white people realized that public assistance wasn't just for black folks. That the fact is they got way more white folks on public assistance than black folks. That's just automatic. It's way more of them in the country. But they begin to realize that. So now, I know we're going to begin to show the world Jackson. The whole world is watching Jackson. We make the national news of what's happening right here in Jackson, Mississippi. Hinds County. And I keep saying we really, really need to keep an eye on our school. It's ridiculous how they're spending our money, and we're not benefiting from it. You drive around Jackson, you see all the money that they put into the private school around Jackson. They done closed our public schools and selling them all. You go over there by Jackson Academy, it looked like a college campus with a big brick wall around the school. St. Andrews over there, look at what they're doing. And these are private schools. Where they get all this money? That our tax money came with $434 million and 17,000 students at a C rate. You know, the whole emphasis is people. They want you to believe nobody's listening, but we know different. We know different. And thank goodness we have this station that keeps putting this information out there, because it is time now we're going to begin to show the world. Things don't have to go south just because a majority of black folks are in charge. Things don't have to go bad. All of a sudden we don't have any money. Now imagine this. How can they say the city is broke when they haven't had an audit in 3 years? How do they know it's broke? How can they come up with a figure, we $50 million in the hole, when they haven't even done an audit? Who's supposed to believe that? You see, but every ward in this city is represented by a council person. That person's responsibility is to help everyone in that ward understand what is going on with your money. What are the plans? And getting your input. That's what they're there for. That's their role. But they can't say, I didn't sign up for all of this. They should have known that before they ran for office. But as I say, you never hear any of them say, I don't know what to do while they're running, while they're campaigning. Never hear any of them say, I don't know what to do, because they know they ain't gonna get elected like that. But then you wonder, well, what are all these plans now that they're in office? What's going on? So the idea is we put them in office, we register first, we vote, listen to them in their campaign, and if they're fortunate enough to get elected, watch it. Now, what are you doing with our money? Or did you know we were broke before you got in office? Why you have to get in office and then tell us we broke? Without lying. We can't afford to be complacent. Can't afford it. Well, our electric bill triple. Why? Because the people we put in office ain't watching. Water bill, $800 million put into the to redress this issue of our water issue. Now they want more money. Where is $800 million? What was it used for? What did they do? We have a right to know this. We used to pay a water bill once every other month. You're paying a water bill every month now. That's an automatic raise right there. You're paying every month now what you used to pay every other month. If you was paying $100 every other month, now you're paying $100 a month now. That's an automatic raise. But then someone get in a residential home getting a water bill for $7,000 or $8,000. Even if they hadn't got a bill for 2 or 3 years, it wouldn't amount to $7,000 or $8,000. See, that's the fear that they want to put in people. You know what? You always you didn't pay your water bill for a year, so now you owe us $17,000. That still don't make any sense. But the people we put in office are supposed to redress these things for us. Go ahead, Carter, you're on there. I'm good. How about you?
Basically, certainly was a bad month, paying $800 million in the state of Jackson. My point also is that $800 million, because each church in the state of Jackson, Braden, Dixon, Pedro, West Jackson, South Jackson, North Jackson, the each church in one of those neighborhoods, $800 million. Don't you think that extreme thing for black folks in the state of Jackson? We can do some things. But the only thing that I see that, the drug dealers need to go, they need to go legal now. Anybody's doing don't need to go legal. They need to set up some loose small group and invest in these lotteries around it and bring some of these $8 million into the city of Jackson, and we can do something instead of look across the track and what the white folks doing over there.
Well, I'm trying to follow you in what you're saying, but first of all, let me correct you. If you're talking about the former mayor Anti, he didn't bring $800 million here. Don't give him credit for that.
$800 million was your one, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it didn't come from him. It didn't come from any effort he put forward.
No, but he went to Washington D.C. and begged those folks that had anything you see what I'm saying, with stretching his head, begging the folks $800 million on behalf of the citizens, the black citizens of Texas, which that was should have been the governor of the state of Mississippi should have went to Washington D.C. begging them folks for the $800 million for the water department.
Well, let me kind of correct you on that.
You know, what we doing with the thing from the state of Mississippi, because Mississippi ain't doing a damn thing up there, right? So us black folks in the shit of Texas.
Let me kind of correct
So
you
we
on that.
and be self-independent of citizen, feel like the damn Indians.
I'm trying to see how serious you are about that. I guess you are serious in what you're saying, but yeah, well, all right, brother.
And then another thing, the Jackson Water Department is named after the city of Jackson, right?
Yeah,
And then you got the city of Jackson has lawyers who represent us, the citizens of Jackson, against the water company that we own, and where the Judge Reed is supposed to mediate between the two. That sounds like a lawsuit, whereas they said that the Jackson Water Department could be and their own lawyers defending themselves against the city of Jackson. And they really represent us, the citizens of Jackson.
yeah, you're saying quite a bit there, brother. I didn't get your name. What's your name, brother?
Luther Williams.
Luther Williams. Yeah, okay. You said quite a bit there. You know, I'll address. I did a what?
You wrote a third for me 3 years ago.
Oh, okay, Luther Williams. Okay,
I was the one man when we were protest
what were you protesting at the time?
about the VA.
Oh, okay, yeah. I think you were standing out there in front of the VA. That was some years ago.
That's what I had.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I also stood by Mr. Field there when they bombed his office. They shot in his house.
Yeah, I was there.
Right.
I was there. Yeah. I appreciate your call, brother. I'm going to address that and we're going to get a couple more calls. Appreciate you calling, man. Yeah. You know, one of the things I'm trying to clarify here, you know, our water situation got so bad that the federal government stepped in on it. It wasn't an effort that Anton Lumumba put forward. Let me address that right now, because matter of fact, the people who were trying to tell him about the situation, which particularly there was, I think, Mary. I'm trying to think of it. I want to say John, but at any rate, assistant deputy director over there at the water works, trying to help him understand what needs to be done, pay no attention. Matter of fact, fired him. So let's not give him credit where it ain't due. You're right. We have a city legal department, which that administration went all around the legal department that we still paying money. That's their role. But they found a way to try to contract with outside law firms to pay them. Why? So, you know, yes, this is why I'm saying we have to understand we are the government. We are the government. We need to get our own. What do you mean our own? We paying taxes? This is our own. We live here. This is our own. And I was just saying earlier, some people said we need to get our own school. Jackson Public Schools are our own school. And if you just want to look at it in reality, it's 99% African American for the students. And here the school board, 5 out of 7 members up over there are black. Superintendent is black. The city council, 5 out of 7 black or black mayor. How else can you say our own? And we citizens and we paying taxes. That's the type of attitude they want us to think, that we need to disconnect. You're going to pay taxes whether you want to or not. Why shouldn't you get the benefit of it? And you are a taxpayer. If you spending money, you're a taxpayer. So the only thing, you know, $800 million came here. And we need to know what happened to it. Yes, we need to know. I commend Judge Wingate for stepping in and trying to say, look, somebody give us some answers, which they haven't gotten any yet, as far as I know. But when I say we're the government, that ain't no joke. That's a fact. We are the government here in Jackson and in Hinds County, in Jackson Public Schools, Hinds County Public Schools. We are the government by law. We are. I ain't talking about no revolutionary action here. I'm talking about the fact that we are citizens and we vote. And we live here. That's what I'm trying to say. You know, we start talking about when we're in charge, we got to do something underhanded. No, you don't. Just follow the law. And we should benefit. But we've been putting people in office that had not been following the law for our benefit and doing criminal activity for their own benefit. Or if not criminal, just underhanded, backhanded. Most of the people we put over there in City Hall, mayor-wise, if a contract wasn't involved, they wasn't interested in it. Why is that? That becomes a question. Scaling down city services, closing senior citizen center, closing the city daycare center. Here we got 38,000, as according to the census, we got 38,000 children in Jackson between the age of 5 and 18. 38,000. And we closing schools? Because they say we only got 7. The point is, we paying that type of money to people over there. Why don't we have more? That becomes the question. Go ahead, Carly, on there.
Jerry, your friend Pastor Dixon, how you doing, man?
Are you all right, Rev? I hadn't heard from you for a minute. You okay?
I'm doing fine, side, but just busy, you know, doing the films and what have you, and what.
I know you. I know you stay busy. You that type of person, but I hadn't heard, so I was going to come look for you, but I'm glad to hear you.
No, everything's fine. And you know, if anything go wrong, my constable, John Brown, will shut up and let you know.
You and I know that.
Now, let me say this, Jared. Let me say this. I want to say this. I want all the radio listeners to know. I've been knowing John Brown as long as, I don't know how long, before he became a constable. He has always been John Brown.
That's right.
He never take the high seat. I don't believe he know something about how to act high. That's not his intellect.
Right.
And we're gonna keep him in this district as long if he's in a wheelchair. I'm gonna help push the wheelchair. John is all right with me.
He is.
Let me say this, Jerry. You made all of us feel proud last week when your friends called in. And I was often wondering who was that fellow that bees on the TV. And you had him on your show.
Yes, sir. Randall Pinkston. Yes, sir.
Yeah. And right here from Yazoo City, Mississippi, Jackson, right here.
Yes, sir.
Listen, Judge, we got some great people all over the country from Jackson, Mississippi.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And I'm proud of it.
Yes, sir.
You said some good things tonight, and I hope we as a black race, of course, I do it, but we need to stay focused on our people because we're not ignorant. We've just been misinformed.
That's all.
Now,
Okay.
if you get them stirred up, enough, you know, and that's what we're trying to do. When you go register to vote, once you get registered, you got to go vote.
Yes, sir. That's right. That's right. Right.
And I want to tell y'all something. That cap down there don't belong to the white folks, it belongs to the people. That's your bill.
Yes, sir.
That's your bill. You can go down there anytime you want them.
Right.
You don't have to have an appointment.
Right.
Just go around and ride the elevator. Just go there and look.
That's right.
And I guarantee you they're gonna start looking at your money. But see, when you start showing up, they get scared. If you show up in big number, if we do that, hold them accountable. You know, and I'm gonna say this. I want to thank God for Wanda Evans because of the fact whenever I call her, and this is no joke, her daddy groomed her for what she does.
Mm-hmm.
And Wanda gonna go in with a landslide. Whenever they run again, I'm with her. I don't care what they say. I'm with one. And I'm with Robert Grant.
Mm-hmm.
And if that guy can't down, if that nigga can't play a guitar, it's not a hit. I've been knowing Bob for years. And don't you think he played for some of the national groups all over.
Well, you know,
And
Ray,
he's done a great job.
you're saying what what I'm saying to the people out here. What not only do we register and vote, know who you're voting for. As a matter of fact,
There you go.
and when it comes to the welfare of the people, it goes beyond individual friendship, because if a person ain't doing what we put them in office to do, they don't need to be there. And that's just what you're saying, right?
That's what they want to say about my countryman, Benny Thomas. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm with him till hell freeze over. All this new coming stuff talking about you ain't gonna do nothing but they get drunk with them white folks. They gonna fool the devil out you, Miko. You don't know you don't know how to go upstairs and downstairs. I ain't going for what the brothers call the okie doke.
Okie doke.
No. I want somebody instead of white folk gonna stand up for you when you ain't there.
Well, that's what that's exactly what it's about, Ray.
With him, listen. And I was out at the cemetery a few months ago with Mr. Tisdale, and where I'm going to be buried. He got a little bench. If you go out there, he got a little bench out there. And sometimes I sit down and I wonder, I say, Lord, why do you take all of our good leaders gone? Like Dr. S.L. Bumble, Dr. S.L. Spain, all of those patriarchs was
Henry Kirksey. Yeah.
Oh man, listen, Kirksey, you all set up the thing for the Senate.
Yes, sir. We did.
Listen, and one thing about that group of folks, they said what they meant and meant what they said. And you couldn't fool them.
Absolutely.
But these niggas now get these jobs, and time he get up there, he move out of Hyde County and go to Madison County.
Ain't that something? But you're right. You're absolutely right. Rev, I'm at to take some of these other calls, Rev. Man, I'm so glad to hear you, man.
They're gonna start calling me. Call in. That's what I'm talking about. Call in. This is a talk show.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And James, I got a surprise for you. I'm gonna be coming your way real soon.
I'll be looking for you. I'll be looking for you. You know, I always want to see you, brother.
Listen, I want Handyman to know it, and Handy done a great job. And let us keep Handy in prayer. You know, he's my friend. He's been my friend for years. And I thank you, Handy, for what you do for me. And Lady Cherie, the one that's coming on, that's the one I'm talking about. The one also tempted but never do again. She is some beautiful young lady. And we all love her. Everybody in Jackson know her.
Lady
From the
Cherie.
rocks and shores of rain to the mountains of Tennessee. They know Lady Cherie.
They know.
Coming on after you.
Yes,
You know.
sir.
But Judge, thank you. And lay with it.
Yes, sir. Long as you with me, Rev, you know I'm good. Long as you with me.
Listen, let us keep Pastor P.J. Williams in prayer. He got one of God's best preachers going to be in his church this coming Sunday from Detroit. Sean Thomas, splitting image of Dr. Sterling L. Jones. That Negro is somebody's preacher. He preached the horns off a miracle.
That's
That
this
Negro can take
this coming.
the big bricks out.
This coming Sunday. This coming Sunday.
This coming Sunday.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir. And Judge, it'd be good if you could slip in on us, because we all gonna be there, and we need some good preaching.
All right. All right.
And thank you so much, Judge, for taking my call. And tell John I'm with him now.
All right. You know he always.
He don't have to get my position. Tell him there's a lot out here in places here, Franklin Mine. And he help John know it.
I'll tell him tonight, Rev. Appreciate you calling, brother.
Yeah, tell him.
Yes, sir. I will tell him tonight. But you know that Reverend Jackson is a stalwart. He's a veteran of the movement, and you know when people like him talk, they ain't talking about what they heard, talking about what they know. You know, and that's what we still got people here amongst us who understand what it took for us to be in this position that we're in. Now, the time for us to show the world we're not stupid and we're not dumb. And we can't afford to be complacent. And a lot of times, sometimes I hear people say, well, I didn't know they had so much money over there in Jackson Public School. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And you compare the amount of money they have with other school districts and then with a C rating. It's pathetic. And it's the only time, you know, you reward somebody for something like that, they're doing something that's benefiting others as opposed to who they're supposed to be. Now, our effort here, we want people to realize you got to register, and you got to vote. And not only that, we got to monitor the people that we put in these offices. We can't afford to be putting people in offices anymore. We're doing other than what we put them there for. As I say, nobody asking anybody to break any rules or do anything underhanded. They want to give people the impression that when we put a black person in office, they got to break the law in order to help black people. Nobody asking that. The rules are the same rules that allowed this city to prosper when white folks were in charge. The same rules are there. Same laws are there. We have to understand that. See, and as long as we're paying taxes, we need to understand we're not broke. Some things just have to make common sense. If they haven't done an audit in 3 years, how do they know they're broke? How can you say we $50 million in the hole and you haven't even done an audit? You don't even know what's been paid or how much has been paid to anything. See, They want to continue to talk to us like they think we stupid. They really do. No, we've been ignorant. We've been uninformed. Those days are over. Regardless of what some of them think, they can't count to 1,000. We can count. We can count. So let us take up the mantle of those people who actually died, gave their life for our right to be able to vote and put in office people who will understand why we put them there. As I say, this ain't about getting even with anybody, going back in history and none of that. It ain't about that. It's about doing the right thing. Doing the right thing. And all of us want a safe city. All of us want good roads to travel on. All of us want schools that really care about our children. And how can you say we got 38,000 children in this city and only 17,000 of them are in our school? Well, the rest of them, you trying to say all the rest of them in charter school. We know that ain't true. The days of telling us anything and thinking that that's going to be good enough, I'm telling you, it is over. It's over. People telling me every day when they see me, you understand, I hear what you're saying. Yes. And we can say it, we'll continue to say it. We're supposed to benefit. We're supposed to benefit from our tax money. We're supposed to benefit. Now, you're not just feel-good sessions. That don't help our street when they're tearing up our cars. And lack of police, of security. You know, they started out with the Capitol Police. The main ones they're hiring wasn't from Jackson, Rankin County. It's a fact. Why can't we hire police right here in Jackson and pay them what they need to be paid? Should be paid, just like our teachers. Our teachers make less money than a manager at Popeye. That's a fact. The people that we're entrusting with our children 8 hours a day making less money than a worker at Popeye. Go ahead, Carly, you're there.
Judge,
yes, sir.
Just a minute to mention some things, to bring some things to the listeners. Judge, do you know in your election department that your honorable mayor, John Horn, asked the governor, yes, he asked the governor to create a board, a regional board, with 3 individuals out of Jackson, including himself. One from Ridgeland, one from Valley, and also he, along with the governor, along with the staff, would be able to pick someone to be on that board with. Your mayor, John Horn, is requesting that from the governor, Tate Reeves. Now, the reason for that, supposedly, is what you just CID. CID means the
Capital City Improvement
District.
Yes.
That's correct. So what I'm saying to you now, Judge, is real simple. We need to keep to know everything that, because that guy is not who we need as as a mayor, we do not need him. And I'm saying it, and you can repeat it and tell him if you want to. But he knows I feel that way. He should, because of the decision that he's making. What you just stated, Judge, is exactly what he's not doing. Our tax dollars are being misused, abused, and everything that go along with it in regards to it, and which is not right and not fair, Judge. I'm not going to keep going, Judge, because I talk to you next year, next month. But I did want to mention the other thing, that Supervisor Archie case that was set up, his trial, his case, in his election case, the trial that was set up for this upcoming Wednesday will be 2 Wednesdays away on the 25th of February at 9 o'clock in Hines County Courthouse. On the 25th at 9 o'clock in Hines County Courthouse. Now, there was a brief file and made a request because somebody wanted to go crew. So whoever it is, I don't know. Somebody wanted to go through. So the judge granted it and extension to the 25th of February. But he did state that the person is not to testify in regards to it. But I think it's ludicrous that you don't allow somebody to go through in regards to a mental certainty. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, brother, for calling. You know, if we don't, well, I don't want to put it like that. I think ever since Mr. Tisdale and I, Henry Kirkson, was fighting against this CCID, because they had time to really realize that Jackson was becoming more and more African American in population. The effort is to really to make it such that the official in Jackson would be nothing more than ribbon cutters. The mayor won't have anything to be mayor over. If they keep going in the direction they're going, I'm saying that. See, all of a sudden, when the rules, as I say, the rules are still there on the books, nothing has changed. So just because now we're in a position to enforce the rules, they want to change the whole playing field. Go back to that, like Trump said, make it like it was. Back in the day when we didn't have any voting power, when myself, Mr. Tisdale, and Henry Kirkson, and a few others petitioned the federal government to get the form of government changed in Jackson that we had. We had a mayor and 3 commissioners that was all on elected citywide. Now we got council members, each one responsible for a ward, 7 of them, and 1 mayor. There's a reason for that. But now all of a sudden, they were trying to take over the school, the state was, the water's been taken over, the police department. Pretty soon, what responsibility would the mayor and the city council have? And here we are over there, like I said, with a school board and a superintendent spending all our money, not on our children. Because the way it's been, nobody's been watching, nobody's been monitoring. But I say that's why that's coming to an end. Can't help it. Can't help it. As they say, you can't fool all the people all the time. I'll take this one last call. Go ahead, call me brief, please.
You seen it, everyone seems to see the direction that the city is going and what they're interested in and is fundraising. But there is Lake Hyco, where all these years, now it's empty. You believe that the city, that the school district was selling property to me for $1 and I could turn it into a 4-wheel car of tank? And like I said, the mayor lived the mayor can stand on the porch and throw a rock over the middle of Lake Hyco. You mean to me that you don't have no idea, don't mention that Lake Hyco dumpster
Well, you making a valid point there, but I have to end with that, man. Thank you for your
I
call.
appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, like I say, we got to watch. We got to watch because you know what are the plans that's going to benefit us, and we got to hold them to it. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Take us out.